Emptiness is frequently mistaken for a lack of meaning. In reality, it's often a symptom of the exhaustion from maintaining a singular, fabricated identity. This feeling arises when you live as a character rather than your authentic self. You are performing a role that was never designed to hold the full weight of your personality. For most of us, this performance is occurring without our consent. It happens in the background of our lives, hidden from our conscious awareness. Your personality is not a random collection of traits. It is structured by ancient psychological patterns that exist deep within the human mind. These patterns establish the boundaries of your world, influencing how you think, how you behave, and how you experience daily life. The rigid identity you work so hard to protect is often the very thing causing your suffering. Carl Jung identified the mechanism behind this struggle. He proposed a framework where the human unconscious is shaped by these universal, recurring patterns. He called them archetypes. These are primal roles embedded within the collective human experience, psychological blueprints that we all inherit. We can see these forces as an ecosystem within the mind. Common expressions include the hero, the caregiver, the rebel, and the wise one. Archetypes are not passive personality traits. They function as autonomous forces that compete for influence over your psyche. When one archetype wins this internal competition, it takes control of your psychological system. It begins to steer your decisions and reactions, often overriding your actual needs. The threat to your well-being isn't the existence of these archetypes, but the act of becoming trapped within a single one. Consider the constraints of the hero archetype. It demands a life of constant strength, relentless productivity, and perpetual forward motion. This becomes a crisis when you inevitably face moments of doubt or a loss of direction. Because the hero cannot acknowledge these states, it buries any contradicting emotion. Eventually, that rigid psychological structure breaks under its own weight. We see a different failure in the caregiver archetype. Its directive is to sacrifice your own energy and resources for the benefit of others. This internal map shows the consequence of that directive, a gradual erasure of the core self as its energy is directed entirely outward. That sense of emptiness is a sign of a systemic vacuum. You are starving your multidimensional identity just to sustain one dominant role. No single archetypal role is vast enough to contain the full scope of a human life. These roles were never intended to be permanent identities. They are temporary perspectives meant to guide you through specific phases of life. Real growth involves integration. This is the process of assembling all your disparate archetypal parts into a balanced whole, rather than identifying with only one. Analyze your behavioral patterns and call upon the suppressed parts of yourself you've ignored. Invoke the rebel to challenge boundaries, or the wise one for perspective. This creates a dynamic balance. Your true self isn't a static monolith, but a shifting equilibrium of these forces. This persistent emptiness is a sign of an incomplete identity. Stopping the performance of a single role is the first step toward becoming whole.